In today's Leeds news, Wober injury problem, Solomon player of the month, Coleman departs, Chambers role in running, Robbie Cook transfer details, Gray gets a call up, Farke the latest manager annoyed at fixture schedule. Hiya folks, Jer here at The View on Tuesday morning, the 11th of February with your Leeds United news. Hope you're having a good week so far. A little bit of small stories to get into, or lots of little stories to get stuck into today. No transfer stories, thank God, for once. So we'll crack on and get into this. And we'll start off with Max Wober injury issue that popped up yesterday and some news that's finally come out. Max Wober's absence from the Leeds United squad that played Millwall in the FA Cup at the weekend did raise some eyebrows around the player's fitness. And a few months back, Max Wober did undergo knee surgery, but since returning from that knee surgery, he has had continuous issues with it, with Daniel Farke commenting on swelling on the knee after any amount of serious minutes being played. Yesterday, Daniel Farke spoke to the media ahead of tonight's game and gave some insight into the situation and confirmed that Max Wober will in fact need another knee operation and will be out until after the March international break, effectively ruling him out for probably the remainder of the season. When you think about how long it's going to take him to get up to match speed after that amount of time off, the amount of games that will be left at that stage, it effectively probably rules him out for the remainder of the year. On the situation, Farke said the following: "He has an ongoing knee problem and will need surgery as quickly as possible and will be out until after the international break. He will have surgery and will be out for 6 weeks. This means now that Leeds will need to rely on Joe Rodon and Pascal Strout to avoid injuries as well as suspensions in the run, and you may very easily see Ethan Ampadu continue to operate in that left centre-back role for maybe a little bit longer, although personally I would like to see Ethan Ampadu out of the back line as quickly as possible and back into midfield and get our defenders back in there for my own personal reasons. But we'll see what happens with Max Wober. It's not ideal. It means we're a little bit light in those centre-back areas where we were already kind of a little bit light in the first place, but at least Ampadu can deputise in there as well. So for now, we're okay. For now. But we need to avoid injuries now in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Moving on, let's talk about Manor Solomon again. And Manor Solomon's good news continues to pop up for the player, and he is the latest one to pick up the Player of the Month award from the Leeds United supporters. Manor Solomon received the January Player of the Month award with 35% of the total fan vote. Second place was Jayden Bogle, who came in with 25% of the fan vote. Then Dan James with 16% and Ao Tanaka on 13%. So well done to Manor Solomon after what was a very, very, very strong January for him, and hopefully we get to see that continuously till the end of the season and he can avoid any injuries and we can benefit from having him in our team. Moving on to a departure from Leeds that was announced yesterday, and that relates to young Irish midfielder Keane Coleman. And Leeds under-21 midfielder Keane Coleman has once again headed out on loan. Coleman had just returned from a 2-month stint at National League side Buxton, and that's exactly where Coleman will head off to again for the remainder of this season. Coleman will sign on loan with the National League side until the end of the season, and we wish the Irish under-19 international all the very best in his move. He was very good in his first spell at Buxton. He'll be hoping for the exact same this time round as well. Coleman's contract at Leeds is ticking down, so he will hope for some impressive performances between now and the end of the campaign. We'll talk more about Keane Coleman when we get Jerry on the channel to talk about the academy, hopefully in the next week or two. Moving on, let's talk about a young rising star at the club, and that's Sam Chambers. And Daniel Farke spoke very highly yesterday of Sam Chambers, saying his inclusion in the squad at the weekend was no gift and that he had worked hard for that. But he did try and cool the obvious fan excitement around the young attacking player, asking fans to give him time to develop, and he will take his time to bed in. We're very quick to jump and scream about getting young players straight into the starting lineups like Mateo Joseph and others, and then very quickly to start hacking them down once they don't perform the way people expect them to. So it's good to see Daniel Farke telling everyone just to chill a little bit when it comes to Sam Chambers. But Chambers scored his first goal for Leeds in the friendly during the pre-season game against Harrogate Town, and he could very easily have scored on his full debut against Millwall after a fantastic run, unlucky with the shot in the end. But the media were also minded to heap some praise on young Sam Chambers, with BBC's Adam Pope going as far as to say that Chambers could actually have a role in the run-in for this season. The 17-year-old attacker could give Leeds options in the number 10 position, where he plays naturally, but Daniel Farke wants the player's development to be on the wing, where he can keep him out of the hustle and bustle of the middle of the game, which is similar to what Arsene Wenger did when he first took Thierry Henry to Arsenal, played him as a winger before then eventually bringing him more inside. Speaking to Don't Go to Bed Just Yet, Adam Pope said the following on Chambers. He's tall as Chambers, and I think he offers something different, but very much a winger, I would say. And he beats his man well, and he comes inside and creates that chance. He's been in the matchday squad, but looking at the performance, if anyone drops off in those wingers, no hesitation. I thought he had a very good game. He was my big bonus out of the day. There is a player there. There's a very confident young player there, but again, as Daniel Farke has said, give him time, let him develop at the right rate, trust the manager to give him the right amount of minutes that he needs, and you know, development is never a straight line, so he'll have good days and he'll have bad days, same as all the other young players that have come through Leeds in the last couple of years. But we'll talk about young Robbie Cook, the goalkeeper, and as expected and shared a few months back, Leeds have confirmed the signing of young goalkeeper Robbie Cook from Perth Glory, and no, he is not a replacement for Ilan Meslier. Cook was announced over the weekend as signing for Leeds United, and details have come out around the talented young shot-stopper's contract, and Cook was described recently by Australian outlet A-Leagues as a highly rated and much sought after goalkeeper, and Leeds are said to have beaten off some clubs to get this contract signed. Cook has signed a 2.5-year deal and will join up with the Leeds United Academy and leaves Perth Glory without a senior appearance, but did make 2 bench appearances for the club, as well as being capped for Australia at under 17 and under 20 level. A statement from Leeds read as follows: "Everyone at Leeds United would like to welcome Robbie to the club, and we look forward to seeing his future development." Leeds are said to have beaten off competition from Sunderland and Manchester United to get the deal for Cook done, and we wish Robbie Cook all the very best in his development. He will go into an underage academy that has some very talented young goalkeepers in there and will add more competition on top of Rory Mahady, who's fighting for an under-21 starting position, along with Daryl Ombang as well, is a very good young goalkeeper as well. So Leeds have lots and lots of good young goalkeeping options there, and hopefully in a couple of years' time we'll see these players come through to be first team players, at least one of them hopefully. Moving on to another young player to talk about, and that is Harry Gray, and he has been called up for international duty this month. The young striker has received a call up to the England under-17 team for their upcoming matches against the Netherlands, and he's been in really good form since returning and is now part of the under-21 setup as part of his continued stretched development. So we wish him all the best in those games as well. And then moving on to the final story and the main story of today, and this is Daniel Farke's annoyance and frustration at the EFL fixture list, and he's not the only one, but he's the latest to voice his concerns. Daniel Farke, as I say, is the latest to voice his frustration at the EFL fixture schedule, going as far as to say he has given up hope on fixture changes. Leeds have yet more games moved for TV, with more expected in the future, and this will lead to Leeds having to play several games with a very short turnaround. Speaking yesterday, Farke expressed his frustration that Leeds now have no Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff for the next 7 rounds of league action, with more changes expected after that. Leeds will have a long trip to Portsmouth for a mid-morning kickoff due to Sky and ITV changing a fixture, and they'll have to travel down to Watford tonight and then have Sunderland on Monday night. Farke said the following when talking about the situation: "When you judge it on just common sense, all the supporters want the best players on the pitch and recovered. They want to see proper product, proper football quality. If you're just back in the early hours of Thursday morning and you play on Sunday, you have to make more changes and rotate more," which is a valid point. And Farke went on then to say that he hopes the schedule isn't as unforgiving on the travelling supporters, and said the following: "If you're just thinking about TV and not the supporters who attend the stadiums, you will one day lose the love of our fan base. I think this is quite an important topic. This is my first worry." I think Leeds fans' love for Sky Sports is long gone and will continue to only develop to get worse if Sky continue to put revenue over players' fatigue and fans' travelling consideration. But the Leeds squad size will be my first worry with this. The thinness of the squad in certain areas mean that the more games you have, the more player fatigue you have, the more need for rotation you have, and that might start to cause some problems towards the running. But I think at this stage everyone knows this is what Sky are going to do. ITV now very much involved in the equation as well. They've got a deal to televise some EFL Championship games along with Sky, and they're part of the agreements in moving these games. The Portsmouth game being a prime example where ITV and Sky will both show that game and have both been involved in moving that to a mid-morning kickoff, which means if you're a Leeds fan travelling to Portsmouth on public transport, you're not going to that game now. So causes major problems and will ultimately affect the atmosphere from travelling fans and stadiums around the country. So yeah, not a great idea, but look, it is what it is and we have to deal with it. And Farke is just one of a number of managers who have voiced their concerns about this schedule. We know the situation here. Get out of this league and you don't have to worry about the EFL Championship fixtures anymore. You can concentrate on a game a week in the Premier League and hopefully European football in the future. We'll have to wait and see. Folks, that'll be it for me today. Back in the morning for more Leeds news. No big up stream tonight on football training, so there won't be any big up watch along tonight. But yeah, back in the morning for the Leeds news. We have a podcast out tomorrow night as well, looking back at the game as well as looking ahead to Leeds' next 5 or 6 games with a couple of the panel. You can check that out later on tomorrow night. I'll talk to you then. Have a great rest of your day. Fingers crossed for 3 points tonight. Talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.